Here is the recipe that I cook in this video. Feel free to screenshot, write it down, or copy from the description. Here is a simple and delicious beef udon soup recipe. This recipe was developed by a friend of mine, and this is being posted with his permission. This recipe begins with a Napa cabbage. This tasty and hearty leafy green will provide freshness and some much-needed crunch to the finished recipe. If your local supermarket doesn't have this, you can substitute bok choy or even broccoli. To prepare this is easy. Just cut off the root end of the cabbage about an inch from the end and peel the leaves away until they start to get woody near the core. Discard the core and then take the leaves and wash them. We can set those aside while we get a large pot and add a couple quarts of water. Place that on the stovetop and turn it on high. Get a large bowl and fill with cold water. If you have an ice maker or the foresight to make some ice, add ice as well. Now, I have a few more minutes before the water boils, and I have been feeling two beady eyes on the back of my head since I cut up the cabbage, so I'm going to make use of this extra leaf. Come on, August, don't be shy. I've got some delicious leafy greens for you. Ah, there she is. Don't worry, like many lizards, she is an omnivore and will gladly consume greens on a weekly basis. I'll leave her to finish that, and head back over to the stovetop where the water is boiling. Just add the Napa cabbage to the boiling water and blanch for about 60 seconds. You will see that the color becomes much more pronounced. Remove that from the pot and dunk in the cold water. Set that aside. Take a pot and add a couple quarts of water. Set that on the stovetop and heat on high. Add salt until noticeably salty. Once boiling, add in a 14-ounce package of udon noodles. You should be able to find these in the World Foods aisle of your supermarket. Or, if you have one in your town, a local Asian grocery store. Add these to the boiling water and stir occasionally. While these are cooking, we can prepare the actual soup. You could use the pot you blanched the cabbage in, or, in this case, I'm going to use a large wok. The one issue I have is that I'm using an electric stovetop, which will not work as well for this type of pan. You can see that the surface area on the bottom is very small. This means that only the center of the heating element will touch the pan. On a gas stove, the flames will hit the center, but then ride up the curved sides of the wok, heating the entire surface. On the electric stovetop, I will turn the heat on high and maintain that setting during the entire cooking process. Right before you turn on the heat, add 1/3 of a cup of soy sauce to the wok. Add a few cranks of black pepper, some onion powder, and a pinch of salt. Mix to combine. Turn the heat on high. The soy sauce should boil very quickly. Stir or shake the wok continuously and reduce the soy sauce by about 1/3, or until you are worried some of it may burn on the bottom. Add in 2.5 quarts of high-quality beef broth and mix thoroughly. Check on your noodles. They should be nearly done, but you can taste one or two to be sure. Once done, strain them out thoroughly and rinse a few times to ensure that there is no residual starch on the noodles. Unlike in a pasta sauce, we really want to remove the starch in order to maintain the smooth consistency of the broth. Once strained, take those back to the stove. The broth should be nearly boiling. Add in the noodles. Carefully add in the Napa cabbage and bring back to a boil before adding in some shaved steak. Now, you really want to use a shaved steak for a recipe like this. You may also be able to find this labeled as hot pot beef, or your butcher should be able to shave a steak for you. The key is how thin the steak is cut, much thinner than a knife is normally able to. This allows the fat to render out of the beef and into the sauce right away, with the steak pieces themselves cooking in less than a minute. You will see this happen as you add the beef to the boiling broth, as it will go from mostly clear to cloudy almost instantly, and the pink will fade from the steak just as fast. Once that happens, the udon soup is done. And there it is. I found myself a pair of chopsticks to eat this with, and it really is the best way to enjoy udon soup. If you don't have or are uncomfortable with chopsticks, I would recommend using a fork over a spoon. Once you are done with the tender noodles, the savory beef, and the crunchy Napa cabbage, you will be left with an incredible beef broth that you are going to want to sip directly from the bowl. If you have not tried something like this, I heartily recommend it. Though it is in many ways more involved than the beef ramen soup I shared last week, the unique flavors and unforgettable eating experience make this one that you will definitely want to try out. It is something special. Thanks to my good buddy Aaron for sharing this recipe with me. I ended up eating the leftovers from this the whole week, and it held up amazingly well throughout. Next week, homemade mac and cheese. Thank you.